Hello everyone, Darko2012 here with Global Government News, and I'm moving on to part 2 here. I never know how many parts this is going to be because I like to give a lot of background on subjects. I don't like to, well, sometimes I like to just read articles, give my commentary, and then that's it, but there's some things that just you can't just rush into, and you need a lot of background and history because I think it helps all of us, right? It helps all of us if we have a lot of background. So when we go to this story, what I consider kind of propaganda because it's glorifying the police state. You got stormtroopers, stormtroopers, taking on these pirates. And I'm not saying, like I said, I know people are gonna give me crap about this, but I'm not saying that there's no threat of piracy. But what I'm saying is that the government, much like quote terrorists, um, you know, uh, they need to fund enemies, right? So that we can colonize them. Do you see what I'm getting at? This is a modern, a very modern, a new type of imperialism where you fund and you create a situation that allows pirates to exist, right? You allow terrorists to exist, and then your occupation itself creates the resistance, thus demanding a need for a quote global police force in the little country of Somalia, right? So I already give you a little bit of brief history on them, and then here's this person, this individual, who is smiling as he's being taken in by these two very serious white men, or yeah, I guess you can consider them white men, for this boat, the Maersk, Alabama. And then here he is smiling again with this very serious man, kind of looking like he knows something. And so, I guess this is my speculation, but these guys cannot be that dumb, these pirates, right? They can't be that dumb because how many little skiff boats are, flocking out to these ships to take them over? They have to know, pretty much that their time is done, right? That you can't go out and you can't, take on these ships. But see, that's what I'm saying. It's a very, very dark type of control that we're living under, where everything is not always black and white. Where maybe individuals like this are co-opted, are actually funded, where this individual knows that he's just going to be let go, right? They want people like him to exist so that it can create the need and desire for them to be there. So let's move on. Let's move on. And if you trust me and everything, all the work that I've done with my videos, I would ask you to please bear with me, and just let me do this research for you. Just I would like you to do the research. I posted the links, but let's just look at this so that when we read this article that was posted today, you can say, man, this is so ridiculous, Darko. You're right. Now I wonder why this whole thing doesn't even smell right. But let's look at the Republic of Somalia, right? It's on the east coast of Africa. There's Ethiopia, but there it is right there, right? And this north part is all controlled. Well, the whole part was dominated by the British and all them, like I said, but this whole part is dominated by is pro Western establishment, very productive economy and all that. This southern part are where they're called rebels, or some people would call them patriots, right? Because they want to keep their independence because these people are not for independence. They're for allowing foreign companies and foreign nations to come through their little shipping lane, right? It's kind of like a tax. You want to come through here, you're going to get taxed. I mean, and so basically, they're no longer independent anymore. They're just have a rogue government, just like Yemen over here. And so here, it says that it says, in antiquity, Somalia was an important center for commerce with the rest of the ancient world. Its sailors and merchants were the main suppliers of frankincense, myrrh, and spices, items which were considered valuable luxuries by the ancient Egyptians, Phoenicians, and Babylons, with whom Somali pirates. See, I'm so used to saying Somali pirates, I'm calling them pirates, but they are people. Trust me, they're regular people trying to earn a living, and Babylonians with whom Somali people traded. According to most scholars, Somalia is also where the kingdom of Punt was situated. The ancient Puntites were a nation of people that had close relations with the pharaonic Egypt, the pharaohs, during the times of the pharaoh Sehur and the queen Hatshepsut. I'm not pronounced. And it says here Mogadishu, the city of Mogadishu, came to be known as the City of Islam and controlled the East African gold trade for several centuries. In the Middle Ages, several powerful Somali empires dominated the regional trade, including the Arhan state, which excelled in hydraulic engineering and fortress building, the Sultanate of Adal, whose general was the first African commander in history to use the cannon warfare on the continent during Adal's conquest of the Ethiopian Empire. And then it says the Gabrun dynasty, whose military dominance forced governors of the Omni Empire north of the city to Lamu to pay tribute to the Somali Sultan. In the late 19th century, or late 1800s for those people, century after the Berlin Conference had ended, European empires sailed with their armies to the Horn of Africa. And when I read this, that's when I knew that, okay. The imperial clouds waving over Somalia alarmed the dervish leader Muhammad Abdullah Hassan, who gathered Somali soldiers from across the Horn of Africa and began one of the longest colonial resistant wars ever. So that's what I was getting at. Somalia was never formally colonized. The dervish state was successfully repulsed the British Empire 4 times and forced it to retreat to the coastal region. As a result of its fame in the Middle East and Europe, the dervish state was recognized as an ally by the Ottoman Empire and German Empire. So this is important, right? This is how it is now, where you'll see, and I'm going to get down here again, where they could not defeat them. So what did they do? They said, oh, you can join us, right? That's how the UN works, Oh, can you take us on? Can you take on the UN, the World Army? No? Well, you might as well join us, right? So, and it says, and remained throughout World War I to the independent Muslim power. So they did somewhat have their independence. After a quarter of a century holding the British at bay, they were finally defeated in 1920 when Britain, for the first time in Africa, used aeroplanes when it bombed the Dervish capital. As a result of this bombardment, former Dervish territories were turned into the protectorate of Britain. Italy similarly faced the same opposition from Somali sultans and armies and did not acquire full control of parts of modern Somalia until fascist Syria 1927, and this occupation lasted until 1941 and was replaced by a British military administration. Northern Somalia would remain a protectorate, while southern Somalia became a trusteeship. The union of the two regions formed in Somalia in 1960 formed the Democratic Republic. So hopefully this has given us some background on what this country really is and why this is going. Because this is the new form of, like I said, the new form of conquering and controlling and creating a world government. So of course, to strengthen their relationship with the rest of the African continent, Somalia joined other African nations when it founded the African Union. And people are like, African Union? What? AFRICOM, yeah. And because of course they're going to merge the North American Union, which it technically is. They just don't want to call it because Americans are just very outspoken about it not wanting to be there. So, but it does, the trade, the SPP does exist, the transcontinental, the highway that runs from Mexico to Canada. But North American Union, the Asian Union, the African Union, the European Union all merge world government, and then the next is the world currency, which is they're trying, but that's besides the point. So it says, yeah, they're also became a member of the. Here's a picture. Somalis, and they weren't pirates, they were soldiers defending their own waters, right? And these are British. The British here are the pirates, right? This is the irony. This is the great thing about 1984-ish Orwellian, where the victors, like even Hermann Goering, admitted the victors, rewrite history as they want. So, we're the victors, and now see. Looking back, really, these guys, the British, are the fucking pirates. Somali warriors board British Naval Battalion, the Young Tom. So here you go. The Somali-Soviet friendship and later partnership with the United States enabled Somalia to build up the largest army in Africa. So please just stick with me, guys. We're going to go into a third part here. And hopefully by the second half of this third video, we will roll into this ridiculous article. So thank you.